Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Nikki Haley to drop out of 2024 race, ending challenge against Trump for GOP presidential nomination, sources say. Haley, a former South Carolina governor who served as Trump's UN ambassador, was the former president's last remaining Republican 2024 rival. Yeah, so she's going to be out. She's going to announce it this morning, supposedly at 10 a.m. Eastern time. She's in South Carolina, the state she was formerly governor in. So that ends that. So let's hear a little bit. When the news breaks here, they're talking about what the plans are ahead.
All right, let's bring in Brett Baer joining on the phone with this breaking news. Brett, of course, we just found out. Thanks so much. Well, Ben, you can stick around. Thanks so much, Brett, for joining us. First off, Nikki Haley at 10 o'clock today will make an announcement. According to Wall Street Journal, she's going to drop out of the race and she will delay endorsing Donald Trump, if at all.
Yeah, good morning. We are hearing that as well. And you know, this is what had been expected after the results of Super Tuesday, winning Vermont, but losing all the other contests. She then suspends her campaign with wins in the District of Columbia and Vermont. The part about not endorsing Donald Trump, I think, will probably...
One thing I want to point out, she barely squeaked out a win in Vermont, which is an open primary state, which means a whole ton of liberal Democrats voted for her. Same goes for Washington, D.C. Now, the two most left progressive bastions in the country, or some of the two, is Washington, D.C. and Vermont. All the federal employees, all the people that live off the federal government, that federal government is their life, voted for Nikki Haley, which says a lot just in itself. Let's listen on.
Probably be vexing for some in the Republican Party, and we'll see how she phrases it and how that all comes about. But suspending the campaign brings essentially this race to an end, and Donald Trump is the presumptive nominee with just a few delegates to go before clinching it mathematically.
That's right. Brett, quoting the Wall Street Journal article, it says, and we know this first part, Haley won't announce an endorsement Wednesday, the people close to the campaign said. But this is the part I want your comment on. Haley will encourage Donald Trump, who is close to having the delegates needed to win the Republican nomination, to earn the support of Republicans and independent voters who backed her. What does she want to happen with that?
She still wants to be relevant. She still wants to be a player. She's just like Ron DeSantis. I think Ron DeSantis might be able to recover in time. But she has burned all of her bridges, all of them. It's a shame, too. It really is. Because Trump pulled her out. Basically, I shouldn't say political obscurity, but made her UN ambassador, a very high-profile position, and then turned on her. Even people that don't care for Donald Trump, deep in their hearts know that loyalty to an individual that brought you up is a big deal. It's discouraging, but you're going to have to earn the people that supported me. Well, of course you are. But she wants to be the one to be the go-between. In other words, President Trump's going to have to go through me for my people. Like they're mindless drones and they can't figure it out on their own. And that is part of the liberal sickness. They think everybody thinks the same. It's truly amazing. Will she want something out of this? I don't know, like what? He's never going to hire her for a cabinet position. He's never going to be UN ambassador again. She's just pretty much burned everything. Let's listen on.
Well, Steve, I mean, this could be a negotiating ploy. Who knows? I don't think she's on the top of the list for VP. At least that's the sense you get from Trump world and the former president himself. But I do think that this sounds like a negotiating point, and there's got to be some unity messaging here in this speech, because that's, I think, what the Republican Party is yearning for.
Yeah,
so, Brett, I'm so sorry, Nancy, go ahead. When you look at the tea leaves, and you've covered this for years, how bloody was this process? Is it comparable to any other moment in time where there can be some repair?
Yeah, listen, Lawrence, Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush were pretty ugly at times and ran some really tough campaign ads against each other. Maybe not as pointed elbows as we got to at the end here, but
I think you got the general idea. Is she going to make peace? That's up to her. One thing President Trump is really big on is personal loyalty. And I think she screwed herself over. Screw the pooch, as the test pilots say. 13 months after she launched her 2024 Republican presidential campaign in Charleston, South Carolina, Nikki Haley is ending her White House bid. Two sources confirmed to Fox News Digital. She probably allowed that to leak out so she can get all the, instead of talking about how Trump swept with huge percentages in Super Tuesday, some 70, 80% of the vote or more in some cases. She won barely by a hair's breadth Vermont. And a few weeks ago, she won the District of Columbia. Big deal. What is she going to do? I was threatening people that my people will not vote for Trump if I tell them to. That mentality is just so bad. Her smartest thing for her to do is just say, I endorse President Trump, have a good day, and then shut the F up after this, basically. Haley is scheduled to speak Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time from Charleston, where she's expected to say her candidacy forced an important conversation and gave people an alternative to Trump. In a Republican primary field that topped a dozen candidates last summer, Haley was the last remaining rival to Trump, who for months had been commanding frontrunner in the GOP race, and he makes his third straight White House bid. One thing about Trump when he wins, and I'll give you an example. Election night 2016, he had fairly high praise for Hillary Clinton. That she fought really, really hard, and she really pressed hard, and she did a lot of things. Trump isn't as arrogant in victory as he is while you're competing with him. For President Trump, everything in life is a competition, whether it be personal, financial, political. That's just in his DNA, and he can't get around that. I doubt if he'll say anything snarky concerning Nikki Haley. I mean, it won't even be close. There's really no point now. The contest is over. And that's the way President Trump thinks. It's amazing. It really is. Let's read on. Haley pulled in the single digits for much of last year and faced an uphill climb. That surge increased in December as Haley caught up with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in the latest Iowa polls and national surveys for a distant second place behind Trump. Yeah, because Ron DeSantis shot himself in the foot. I am so disappointed. And I'm a big fan of Ron DeSantis at the time, and still kind of am. He's an excellent, excellent governor. And here you see Sununu, the former governor of New Hampshire. It's Republican. It's a shame. Now, there are always going to be disagreements. I call it a civil war in politics. Primaries are usually very messy, very ugly things because they're very much like family fights. They can get nasty and they can get ugly. It's really incredible. After Trump scored landslides in Nevada and U.S. Virgin Islands GOP caucuses in February, the race moved to Haley's home state of South Carolina, which she lost. While Haley campaigned relentlessly in her home state and Trump only made a handful of stops, the former president enjoyed the backing of South Carolina's governor, both senators, and a score of lawmakers and officials. Yeah. Yep. I mean, whether you like Donald Trump or not, politics is business in a certain sense mentally. You want to be on the side that's winning? That's a tough call. Some people have to make that decision on their own. But Trump getting the nomination was inevitable. Now, there's some that thought, Well, Nikki Haley's going to stick it out because Trump's going to get convicted of one of these charges, and then he's going to get thrown off. But the Supreme Court ruling that Trump can't be taken off the ballot, and a 9-0 ruling. You know, it's amazing how they're going after Clarence Thomas, the progressive left, saying this and that. And the funny part was they pick on the black man, but it was a 9-0 decision. Now, the three liberal justices maybe had a little different twist in why they voted the way they did. It's like you're on a jury and you find somebody innocent. 9 of the jurors found them innocent because of X, and the other 3 jurors found them innocent because of of Y. It doesn't matter. The result is the same. I will take the bruises. I will take the cuts. Yeah. You know, he's turned up the volume on the verbal attacks, and Trump's been a little snarky too, to be honest with you. That's one of the things I wince at, even though I'm a huge Trump supporter. He mocked her husband and this and that. You know, Trump ended up topping Haley in 20 points in South Carolina, her own home state of which she was governor. Now, those of you that say she's got nothing to offer, I don't believe that to be true. I think she is with the old neocon Republican. She's on several boards of arms manufacturers. She is the Mitt Romney type, the Liz Cheney type of the Republican Party that sat around like milk toast while the Democrats did anything they want to, whenever they wanted to, did and said outrageous things and never fought back. The one thing that Trump has taught them is how to fight back. It's we've been launching like a rocket to the Republican nomination, Trump touted Saturday night at Richmond, Virginia. He's appointed to his ballot box victories in Michigan, Missouri, and Idaho, yeah. You know, Haley topped Trump by roughly 30 points in D.C.'s Republican primary. They're not really Republicans. Let's tell the truth here. There might be a small percent. In D.C., give me a break. Haley, who's garnered strong support in the GOP primaries from independents and those whose fundraising remains formidable, said she was staying in the race as an option for voters dissatisfied with a likely Biden-Trump rematch. So she's saying, I'm going against Trump because nobody wants Trump, and then I'm going to beat Biden because nobody wants Biden. But Haley held no public events or election night gatherings on Super Tuesday evening and remained mum on any plans going forward. Haley reiterated in the interview on Saturday with Fox News that we're going to go as long as we're competitive. But she did not specifically define what competitive means. She didn't have any public events or election night gatherings on Super Tuesday. She saw the internal polling. She's not stupid. One thing she's not stupid. She saw those polls. She saw she was going to get slaughtered. The only negative thing that I can see about her dropping out is the vast majority of her money that was raised was from Democrat progressive donors. And that money wasn't being channeled in the Democrat Party, i.e. Biden or any down ballot candidates. So the Democrat money that was fueling her, that's why she did so well in fundraising, is going to be going now to Democrats. And I see that as the only disadvantage, the only negative thing. How she handles the endorsement thing, we'll have to see. As long as she doesn't badmouth Trump at every given opportunity, publicly and privately, that she lets, they let leak about she said this and she said that. Just dropping out, even if she doesn't endorse Trump, just goes into the shadows and becomes invisible. Would she be a good, effective campaigner for Trump? Yeah, she might. She might, amongst independents. They'll say, well, after she badmouthed Trump so badly, Kamala Harris, who's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, said some really horrible things in a debate concerning Joe Biden. And yet, she agreed to be vice president, which was in her best interest, and she campaigned all over the country. Now, some say that Kamala Harris speaking in public might be a negative thing, but the point I'm trying to make is this is business. And as I said before, once President Trump wins something, he stops the personal attacks because the battle is over and it's time to move on to the new battle. He thinks everything in life, a lot of people think this way, and he's mostly true, is a competition to be won. Personal, financial, political, whatever it is. Everything is a competition. In a lot of ways, that's true. So we're going to have to see. So this morning, Nikki Haley is going to drop out. We're going to see how she handles it. If she was smart, she would say, we need to bring the party together. I stand behind President Trump, and just go home. Just go home and try to figure out what she's going to do next. She's burned a lot of bridges. We're going to have to see. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.